Hey, that's my gig. This is Bill. I'm here today with a guy that I get to see him about every 3 weeks, and I get to be a part of his world about every 3 weeks. And it's quite a fascinating world, and it has intrigued me for years. And I wanted to share that with you because I felt like it was the right thing to do. So I've been waiting for this interview for a long, long time. Just his schedule, my schedule, can't ever get it together. The legendary James Pankow.
A legend in my own mind.
Well, maybe, but I think you're a legend in quite a few people's mind.
Positive, I hope.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Those women, they walk up and down through there all night long when you're in here getting your hair cut. Like, go away.
Right.
So, first question, I'm just going to start right off the bat. Who are you listening to right now?
Wow. Right now, I would have to say that my choices in terms of who I like are so wide-ranged that I can't really be specific in terms of that. I could name a lot of different artists that come to mind, but one day I may be in a classical mood, one day I may be in a pop mood, one day I might be in a jazz mood. I think jazz is my first love. It always was. That's where I cut my teeth. I'm an instrumentalist, and that's kind of where I came from. If you're serious enough about this gift, you're going to wind up approaching it zealously to the point where you might get ridiculed. This guy's nuts, man. That happened to me, where all of a sudden I was different from other people because they were your normal, everyday, good, healthy, average people doing okay. But I became so focused, so unilaterally focused on this gift that other things became unimportant. Social things, hanging around, doing the things that normal young men do was no longer in my consciousness. I didn't have time for that because I was focusing on this gift at this point, and I became a target for other normal people that thought that was weird. This guy, he isn't going out drinking beer and hanging out and being a college guy. He's sitting at that desk writing that stupid music shit all the time. He's like, this guy's weird, And I became the victim, if you will, of harassment because I didn't fit in. And gifted people run the risk of being noticeably different from the norm because they're so involved in the moment with this gift. I mean, a bomb could go off when I'm writing a song. I wouldn't know it. It's like, it's all consuming. And I would think that when Muhammad Ali was sparring in the gym, 1,000% of his consciousness was in becoming the best fighter in the world. And, or if it was Albert Einstein coming to the discovery of relativity, he wasn't aware of
what was going on?
The rain hitting the window pane. He was, who knows? And so you run the risk of being considered abnormal or different sometimes.
So at what point did you actually one day go, I think I like this trombone?
Good question. When I could take what I hear and reproduce it. It was one fluid motion, if you will. The trombone was difficult. at first. It was not fun. Number one, my arms weren't long enough to get all the way to the end of the slide. That was something that would not last because I would get bigger. But where are the notes on this slide? I don't have keys, you know. I have to hear where the notes are on the trombone. It's just so you have to have the lips and the tongue make it the attack the note and have the slide at the right place at the same instant. So and you have to. It takes time to know where those notes are on that slide without thinking about it. And one of these guys looking in the practice room window was Walt Perizzator, the saxophone player. It was his idea to start a rock and roll band with a lead horn section. That was his idea. He and Danny Serafin, the drummer, and Terry Kath, the guitar player, were in a group called the Missing Links that were very popular in Chicago, in the Chicago area. They were playing all the big clubs and doing local TV. But they were breaking up. They were on the way out because they were having a beef with the guitar player whose dad managed the band and got them gigs, and they didn't, you know. But they knew that it was short-lived. And Walt came to me and said, hey, after he got to know me a little, he said, Jimmy, what do you think about the idea of a rock and roll band with a horn section? I'm talking a lead horn section, you know, not just frosting on the cake, but a horn section that's up front, that's a main character. I went, whoa, you mean I could be playing rock and roll, the music of our peers? He said, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nobody's doing that. You know, it's, you know, the R&B guys are, you know, Sam and Dave and, you know, I'm a soul man, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know. I said, yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yes, I am. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man.
So did it spin off of both ways? In other words, did you bring things to the table, or did they bring things to the table, or did y'all collaborate on things?
Everybody brought stuff to the table. That's what made it cool. Because one guy came from an R&B background, one guy came from a jazz background, one guy came from a classical background, one guy came from a folksy country kind of background. And when all of that came together, it was a big melting pot. And the result was this music that was borrowing from all kinds of elements.
Right.
And it gave an arranger like myself big freedom to go any direction I wanted to, because it wasn't any specific genre. You know, it was just this music it was Chicago.
Waiting for the break of day, searching for something to say. Flashing lights.
What was it like a defining moment for you where you remember saying, I think this is happening?
I was in my car driving down Santa Monica Boulevard in LA, and you know, we had released several songs from Chicago Transitory, our first record, that had no success because it was considered avant-garde, underground. It was not understood by AM radio. And we then recorded the second album. The first album was still going up the charts. It hadn't fallen off. It was still going up. And we recorded the second album. And I was in my car, and I had written a 13-minute piece called the Ballet for a Girl in Buchanan, which was a long piece with movements. It was composed. I wanted to approach it as the classics did, a symphony with movements. And I was in the car, and one of the movements in that thing was called "Make Me Smile." And I was in my car, and it was the biggest station in LA, KHJ. It was the big top 40 station, and the real Don Steele comes on. Here's a new song by a new artist that's destined to be #1. Ladies and gentlemen, Chicago, Make Me Smile. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm going, holy shit. Because when you make a Drake station, when you make when your song is on the playlist, you made it. Okay? That's called national success. That's a hit record.
Right.
And I went, holy shit.
Were like when these albums and you're like, oh, we sold 1 million, oh, 2 million, oh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it just keeps. Were you ever just like, oh, wow?
Yeah,
like that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot of records.
Yeah, well over 100 million, approaching 150 million albums.
That's a lot of records.
Yeah, 41. Hit singles, 28 platinum albums.
Yeah, I bought my shirt. They're great. They're awesome. I turn that. Listen, 78, and turn my albums on and put my 8 tracks in and cassettes. I think I've got you through every genre.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good.
I use them for frisbees. They make great frisbees.
Actually,
my son, he's going, Dad, these vinyl records are really cool, and I got a box of not just Chicago stuff, but all these amazing albums. All the Beatles original albums, and all kinds of great stuff that I'd love to revisit, And I said, hey, how about if we listen? Oh, Dad, can we listen to some of that, man? I had a dual record changer that disappeared when we moved to Nashville, and so now that you can buy really cool record players. Awesome, yeah. And now they're digitally remastering in this new vinyl albums, and so people are getting back into the ritual of putting the needle on the record.
We have a space upstairs.
I remember, the old days, smoking a J and sitting there and reading the liner notes, and then
I never did that, Mother.
Yeah. And then it went to CD, and then you got the magnifying glass to read the liner notes,
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So, but that's a really cool format. And digital is great, it's the world we live in,
It is.
But you got to have a website.
Yeah.
That's your business card. Your website. You got to find a webmaster to build an amazing website and sell yourself that way. Go global. Do it today.
All right. Well, it's been like, I've wanted to do this for a long time, and you met Derek here, Derek Williams from That's My Gig. He was.
And you have to be in his show. That's my gig, because this will take you places.
That's right.
And if nothing else,
that's right,
you'll have a great time talking to Bill.
It might elevate your career to like a whole nother level.
Most definitely.